Hey, I met with the Gazan ministry. I broke the law too. True. Yeah. I know. Yeah. We could discuss the whys and wherefores of that all day long. We've had sitting presidents meeting with we're about to start this. Well, for those of you who are watching from home, thank you for joining us. This is a little bit different than we've done in the past. For openers, we're starting 1 hour sooner than we've ever started. And I think what comes around sort of goes around. When Jeannie and I joined Temple Beth David 10.5 years ago, services started at 7 p.m. And people just couldn't seem to get here by 7, so we switched it to 7:30. We did that for at least the last 8 years that I can remember, and now we've gone to 6:30. So it's a moving target. Glad you're with us. That's we're going to open, and I hope you will sing along. We're going to open with Yismachu. Quite frankly, I don't know what page it's on. So if you can't find it yourselves, don't worry about it. Sing along or listen. Yismachu, please. Yismachu, b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat, oret, onei, Shabbat, Yismachu, b'malechutecha, shomrei, 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 Shabbat, onei, Shabbat, Yismechu, Yismechu v'shat. Sorry, let's just start from Aham. Aham, Mikadeshei, Mikadeshei Shvi Shabbat, Kulam Yisbe'u v'gu'at mitu v'chashabat, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Onei, Shabbat, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Onei, Shabbat, Uvashvi, Ratzita bo v'kidashto Shabbat, Yami Oto Karata Shabbat, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Onei, Shabbat, B'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Onei, L'maaseh b'reishit Shabbat, Zecher l'maaseh b'reishit Shabbat, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, Onei, Shabbat, B'malechutecha, Shomrei, 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 Shabbat, V'korei, Onei, Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. Glad you are with us. My name is Barry Nicholsberg. I am the cantorial soloist here at Temple Beth David. We are located 20 miles east of downtown Atlanta, Georgia. We are in Snellville, Georgia. And another time I can get into why it's called Snellville, Georgia, but it doesn't really matter at this moment. Immediately to my left is Frank Monteleone. Frank and I have been playing together for, we figure, at least 19 years, although we've only known each other for 10. So it's, anyway, we sort of read each other's minds, and quite frankly, I find it very scary. With that, I would also like to thank Denise Whitlock, who is back at the board tonight as our streaming specialist. And when it comes to either the Misha Berach, you would like to remember someone who's not well, or Mourner's Kaddish, you will type names into the chat, and Denise will read them aloud to us. With that, I'm going to invite Anya, who used to be Weiss. I don't know what she is now, but soon again she'll be Weiss again. So, Anya, would you please come up and light the Shabbat candles for us? And it really is wonderful to see you again. Folks, you can follow her on pages 120 and 121. I will explain before she gets here that we light the Shabbat candles. We greet Shabbat as this is a holiday for us that comes every weekend.
Oh, are you done explaining?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle the light. I don't have to read the blessing, right?
Do whatever you like.
Cool.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. In Judaism, almost every prayer starts the same way. Baruch atah Adonai. Blessed are you, Lord our God. Sometimes it makes variation, but not often. So, you will hear Baruch atah Adonai over and over throughout this evening's service. The word we use most often, God has 72 names in Judaism. The one we use most often is Adonai, and you will hear it this evening repeatedly. Okay, with that, I would ask you to turn to page 138. We're going to welcome the Shabbat bride. We're going to sing Lecha Dodi. We sing verses 1, 5, and 9. When we start on verse 9, we ask that you all stand up and face the door you came in to greet the Shabbat bride. Kabbalat, לקראת כלה, פני שבת קבלה. תוברי, כי העורף אורי, אורי, שיר דברי, כיבוד אדוני עלי, לה 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 לחדתי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת קבלה. לחדתי, לקראת כלה, פני שבת קבלה. Please rise, physically and or spiritually, face the door you came in, whether it's here in the sanctuary or at your home. Bohi shalom ateret bala, gam besimchat sola, toch amone am segula, bohi chala, la 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 hadati, likrat kala, pnei shabbat kabela, hadati, likrat kala, pnei shabbat kabela, la 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 hadati, likrat kala, pnei shabbat kabela, hadati, likrat kala. Please be seated. If you will turn to page 144, I will chant the Reader's Kaddish, the Chatzi Kaddish. This will sound like it's Hebrew. If you read the text, it certainly looks like it's Hebrew, but it's not Hebrew. This is Aramaic. It's one of the two pieces that we do this evening that has the same chant to it that it's had for thousands of years. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba b'yom divrachu teviam lilch malchutei b'cha yechol yomecho uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala Uvizman karif aimaru amen. Yehishmei rabba mevorach li'alam u'al me'ol maya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitra'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithada v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei dekadasha barechu le'elamim kol birchata v'shir ata tosh bechata v'nechemata damiran bi'alma v'imaru amen. Would you please turn to page 146 and rise for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Borechu et Adonai Hamirmu. turn to the bottom of page 148 for me, please. In English, join me as I read, starting with Blessed are you. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzavot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hamariv aravim. At the bottom of page 150, I would ask you please to join me in reading, starting with everlasting love. Everlasting love you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. On page 152, I would ask you please to rise for the most important prayer in all of Judaism, the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Shemito Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shemito Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. I would ask you to turn to page 154. I'm going to invite Anya back down as I'm going to ask her to please chant the V'ahavta for us. There is a microphone in Jeannie's hand. Jeannie's getting it all set for you. And with that, I will step out of your way. You can stand right here if you like. No?
V'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shitacha v'techa uvletecha v'derech ushaltecha uvkumecha ushartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letatafot b'neinecha uvshaftam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskaru V'yitzem et kol mitzvotai, v'yidhem kadoshim lelechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem, mi'eretz Mitzrayim lehov le'elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Adonai Elohechem, Yasher Koach. Thank you very much, Anya. That was wonderful. What you just heard was chanted straight from the Torah. The cantation is the cantation that is taught to us in the Torah, and so it sounded very different. And yes, it was in Aramaic. With that, let me ask you to turn to page 158. And I will ask you to read with me at the bottom of the page, starting with, "Who is like you? Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? Your children witnessed your sovereignty, the sea splitting before Moses and Miriam. This is our God, they cried. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael." And please keep this particular prayer in mind, because the Devar tonight focuses on this very piece. Your children witnessed your sovereignty, the sea splitting before Moses and Miriam. This is our God, they cried. Well, they didn't cry it for very long. And we will talk about that in a little bit. Mi Chamocha, page 158, please join me in singing. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh, noratehi lo oseh felech, noratehi lo oseh felech. Malechutecha hara uvanecha, bokei ayam lifnei she'u Miriam, ze'elianu v'yamru, ze'elianu v'yamru. Adonai yidoch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yidoch le'olam. Elim Adonai, Kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, noratehi lo oseh felech, noratehi lo oseh felech. So with Sarah McElhaney here, I'm really in my element. So what you need to know is that when Gina and I first came to the synagogue, I sat in the very last row. And that's where I stayed for months on end. I had no problem with it. Somebody up here, yes, I remember who, suggested to the rabbi that perhaps he and I could work on some stuff together. Sarah McElhaney is sitting opposite where I used to sit. And you're singing every note, and you're young, but you're not too young to recruit. So beware, there's history here. On page 160, we're going to sing a lullaby. It really is a beautiful lullaby. It says, God, please watch over us. We will do this in Hebrew, then we're going to do it in English, and we'll see where it goes from there. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom, v'hamitenu malkeinu l'chayim. V'saleinu Sukkach lamecha, ufos aleinu, sukkach lamecha. In English now. Shelter us beneath thy wing, O Adonai. Guard us from all It's lovely. Shelter us beneath thy wings. What a wonderful thought. I'm going to ask you to turn to page 164, and I will ask you to rise for the tefillah. And the tefillah simply means standing prayer. That's why we stand for it. Otherwise, it would be called something else. Ha-na-na-na-na-na-na Adonai. Ha-na-na-na-na-na-na Savtai Tiftach. Ha-na-na-na-na-na-na Ufi-Yagi. Ufi-Yagi Tahilatecha. Ha-na-na-na-na-na-na Adonai. Ha-na-na-na-na-na Savtai Tiftach. Ha-na-na-na-na-na Ufi-Yagi. Ufi-Yagi Tahilatecha. Ha-na-na-na-na-na-na Adonai. Ha-na-na-na-na-na Savtai-Tita. Ha-na-na-na-na-na Ufi-Yagi. Ufi-Yagi Tahilatecha. Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Ve'imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Elohei Zilpah Elohei Bilhah Ve'Elohei Tamar Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor Ve'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei HaKol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot Umegula Livnei V'nehem B'Ma'an Shemo B'Yava Melech Ozer U'Mashiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Yetzrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Hakal Atarav Le'Oshia Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem Mechakel Chayim Bechesed Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somef Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Kayem Unato Lishenei afar michamocha bal givurot umido melech melech memit chaye umatzmiya mitshua v'ne'emanat alechayot ha'akol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye ha'akol. Page 170. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el ha'kadosh. Please be seated. You're welcome to join me as I read on page 181, starting with We Reach for You. We reach for you, our God, from our quiet places. May we stand still for a brief moment and listen to the rain. Stand still for a brief moment and watch the play of sunlight and shadows on the leaves. For a brief moment, listen to the world. Let us stop the wheels of every day to be aware of Shabbat. Find the stillness of the sanctuary which the soul cherished. Renew the covenant of an ancient people. We need a quiet space to test the balance of our days, the weight of our deeds against the heaviness of the world's demands. The balance is precarious. Steady us with faith. Quiet places and stillness where we will hear our own best impulses speak. quiet places and stillness from which we will reach out to each other. We will find strength in silence, and with this strength, we will turn again to your service. Please join me in praying silently. So for those of you who have been following along, in the tefillah, which many consider the holiest prayer on a Shabbat, I added 3 women's names, Zilpah, Bilhah, and Tamar. I did that because they deserve to be remembered. They mothered 5 of the 12 leaders of the tribes of Israel. They have been left out of just about everything because of their occupation. Actually, Tamar was not a prostitute, she just pretended to be. So you'll hear those 3 names again. I believe that if we remember the good people, they stay alive. And if we forget the bad people, happily, we forgot them. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Nobody remembers who that is anymore, and for good reason. Page 371. If you're watching online, this would be a good time to start typing into the chat room the names you would like to be remembered for healing. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, Leah, Zilpah, Bilhah, and Tamar, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and for their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit, and let us say, Amen. If you have names to add to this evening's Misha Berach list, I would ask you to say them now.
My grandma.
Papa Tom and Jesse as well.
Eva St. Germain, Louise St. Germain, Leah Ariola, Bonnie Flamer.
Morrison, Felice Friedman, Katie Adler, Linda and Steve Ely, Heather Murray, Jerry Jacobson, Luana Bachler, Sandy Lynn Force, Wilda Fink, Barbara Freed, people in Ukraine and the hostages of Israel.
Leah Winwick, Clausen, Polly Contos.
The Milligan family, Connie Spinelli, Nicole Gravante, Jim Wade, Joel Lass, and Catherine Seidel, and Rabbi Fred Natkin.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else? Denise, are there names in the chat box?
Yes. Linda Aronsaft, Joe Wagner, Cherie Silver, Barbara Frank, Lois Sorkin, Yvonne Thomas, Barbara Frank, Louise Lyon, Sumani Aronsaft, Tanya Hurst, Diane Berger, Bonnie Miller, Holly Helbine, Ann Moore, Carol Pascal, Shelley Perkle, Heather Murray, Mike Roth, Dennis Sadler, Shelley Storch, Roxanne Rogers, Lisa Ann Gaston, Tim Browning, Patty Beeman, Angie and Ron Perdome, Heather Murray, Barbara Freed, Sonia Freitas, J.J. Roth, Diana Swiger, Barbara Whitlock, Jackie Freeman, Don Freeman, Terry Hurst, Daniel Brito, Barbara Freed.
Thank you.
Barry Nicholsburg.
I will add Heather Murray, Barbara Freed, Dr. Daniel Gross, David Ben Mordechai, Ari Viminke, Wendy Fine, Dave Erickson, Shelley Perkel, Eva Baker, Mary Omer, Jeffrey Bethel, Jerry Hunt, Mark Epstein, Kay Omer, Hannah Lietzow, Bob Harrington, Lloyd Stephen Reifert Jr., who I also want to congratulate on celebrating his 100th birthday yesterday, and President Jimmy Carter. I also wish to keep in mind and ask the Lord to keep safe all of those in uniform who are protecting us, whether they are in police, military, fire, ambulance, whatever they are there and making sure we are safe. And finally, I wish to keep in mind all the citizens of Israel and Ukraine who are fighting and dying, making the ultimate sacrifice. And once again, I will remind everyone here, Palestinians have never been our enemy. Hamas is our enemy. And so if we pray for the safety and well-being of those who study a different religion, it is not inappropriate. Misha Berach, please. Misha Berach Avoteinu Mikor HaBrecha Laimoteinu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Before I do the Devar, I want to read to you a poem that Wendy Fine found. It's on page 366. You're welcome to read aloud if you like, follow along, or just listen. We sit in a community, elbow to elbow, eye to eye, so close perhaps we brush against each other as we move in prayer. Ears filled with the voices of friends, teachers, fellow travelers, who pray with us from the next seat, from across the room. We come in silence, rhythm of words, shared melody, hushed. Connected first, one to all. We now let go, to be alone with the Holy One, to speak our mind and our heart and soul, but not with our lips. The prayers we weave together cannot replace the private conversation. God, our partner, awaits us one by one. A miracle. Which brings us to this evening's Devar. And as usual, I'm troubled by it. I'm going to carry this with me as I do this Devar, and there's a reason for it. It'll come up, and you'll understand in just a moment. Well, maybe more than just a moment. This is the chapter, the parsha of our Torah that talks about the children of Israel building the golden calf. Now think about what's happened. They have been enslaved for 240 years, 10 generations. They then witnessed God performing miracles that were unimaginable, and they stood apart from it. So darkness, frogs, locusts, whatever it was, happened to the Egyptians, did not happen to the Jews. You would think that after 10 of those, that would be enough. But God said, nope, I've got another one for you. And when they got to the Red Sea, the Sea of Reeds, the sea parted. Quick little bit of history here. It was not Moses who raised his staff that parted the seas. It was a fellow named Nahum. Again, somebody who really deserves to be remembered. Nahum believed God. God said, walk. I will make it safe for you. Just start. Nahum said, okay with me. And he walked. The water got up to his ankles. He kept walking. Up to his knees. He kept walking. Up to his hips, he kept walking. Up to his chest, he kept walking. Up to his mouth, he kept walking. Up to his nose. He was about to drown, but he kept going. God said, that man believes. And with that, the seas parted. And the riverbed dried up. So 6 million people and their goats and their carts and everything else could cross safely. You would think that would be enough. But God said, I'm going to give it to you even better. He called all the souls to Mount Sinai. He stood from Mount Sinai in the clouds and spoke to the people, and they trembled. And they begged Moses to ask God, please, please don't let us hear your voice anymore. We will all die of fright. And so Moses went up on Mount Sinai for 40 days. And what happened? They lost faith. After all that, they lost faith. I can't understand it. Of course, I couldn't really understand where they got all the gold to make this golden calf. Well, as they were about to leave Egypt, they went to their Egyptian neighbors and said, give us your gold, as God told them to do. And the Egyptians did. That's why they had the gold. Certainly, Adonai, the omnipresence, knew what was going to happen. And so Moses comes down from the mountain with these slabs, with the 10 commandments. By the way, there are 613 commandments. The 10 were those who the people heard. The other 603 came later. And Moses taught them those. So he sees this golden calf. He becomes completely enraged. He throws the tablets toward the calf. The calf explodes in 1 billion pieces. And God says, I've had it with these people. They don't believe. At this point, there is no helping them. I'm done. And Moses said, give them one more chance. Who argues with God? What religion says it's okay to argue with God? Judaism. Trick question. Hence, if we're allowed to argue with the Almighty, we certainly can argue with ourselves. We are a passionate people. There's really nothing very quiet about Judaism. So God said, ultimate thing here. You will have no God but me. Which brings us to this piece of plastic. I know people who, given the option, give up your life or give up your phone, they would die on the spot. I know a lot of people. I watch in horror as people pray to this. They go to sleep with it, they wake up with it, they have it all the time. Oh, I'm in the middle of a sermon. Oh, I just got a text, I got to take that. Oh, I have a fall. No, I was just about to ask you to marry me. Can't, I have to call. Sorry, I'll get right back to you. Really? Is this more important? I say it isn't, but I know it is. 3 years ago, on Yom Kippur, I said it's too easy to give up food for a day. It's just too easy. We can do that. It's not a big deal. Give up your phone for a day. Nobody, not one person in our congregation, when I asked, all right, who among you have given up your phone for 24 hours? Not one. Golden calf. We've got to start over. We have to look within ourselves. This doesn't have to go away. It just shouldn't be our number one priority. Honey, wait a second. Don't have the baby quite yet. I got to get the phone. I can record it now. This is more important than anything else in our lives, and it's wrong. Something to think about. Shabbat Shalom. Okay. That said, I am going to ask you to rise, turn to page 586, and rise for the Aleinu. And while you're doing that, I wonder, Thea, you don't have to say a word, but I'm going to ask if you would come down and help me on the bema just by opening the ark. It just takes 2 people, and I'd love for you to join me. So I will ask you to draw this curtain back, and then I'll let you know when to close it again. So go ahead, please, open it up. Yep, that's it. You got it. Perfect. About 3 minutes from now, I'll ask you to close it. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'ateit gedula le'otzeh breshi. שלא עשנו כגויי הרצו, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים יעשה הארץ מושב יקרוב בשמיים ממעל ושיננו זו בכהן מרומים הוא אלוהינו אינו אמת מלכנו אמת זולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת יום והשיבות אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים 5:88. For you spread out the heavens and established the earth. Your majestic abode is in the heavens above, and your mighty presence is in the loftiest heights. You are our God, and there is none else. In truth, you are our sovereign without compare, as is written in your Torah. Know then this day and take it to heart that Adonai is surely God in the heavens above and on the earth below. There is none else. Page 591. Nemor Yehaya Adonai Lamelech Ala Kol Haaretz Bayom Hahu Yeh Adonai Echad U'Shemo Please be seated. Page 592. You're welcome to read with me or just listen. When I die, give what's left of me away to children and old men that wait to die. And if you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. When you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me in the people I've known or loved. And if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not in your mind. You can love me best by letting hands touch hands, by letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. Are there names this evening of those you would like to be remembered on this evening's yahrzeit list? All right? I'm being told by Denise, nobody in the internet. Hi, David. Anybody here? No names? Not in the period of Shiva, the first 7 days, period of Shloshim, first 30 days? We remember these who have been so close to us at this synagogue in years and died at this time in years past. Marcia Finkelman, Larissa Scherf, Jerry Steinberger, Marjorie Rosenberg, Lillian Sherwin, Wesley B. Inglet, Jerry Rubin, Rebecca Finkelman, Gary Eugene Horowitz, Mark Zidell, Bertha Zell, Gloria Silverstein, Ellie Lesser, Gail Rubin, Alan Sachs, Nathan Sousa, Fred Markle, my grandfather, Philip Nicholsburg, Robert Levitt, Eva Bernstein, Harold Ginsberg, Jack Zell, Beatrice Kay, Sam Portnoy, Sarah Stuckler. And the last name is my grandmother, Dinah Nicholsburg. Are there any others you would like to add? I ask you please to rise as a community of one as we join those who are in mourning, and we recite on page 598 the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'yamliuch malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba Mevorach Leolam U'almei Olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal Shmed Kudsha Baruchu. Le'elamim kol brachata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran bi'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama uya aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes harmony on high bring peace to us and all Israel, and let us say, Amen. Please be seated. Are there announcements? Mr. President, I invite you with microphone in hand. Somebody's got a microphone for you. James Feynman, our board president, will be here in just a moment. He's getting mic'd up. I will make one announcement, if I may, and that is that I don't know when I will be back on the Bema. The rabbi is here next Friday night, and between that and the next week, I'm having surgery, and I would expect to be out somewhere between 3 weeks and 3 months, and I don't know what the answer is. So until that sort of gets straightened out, I will be taking a hopefully brief sabbatical. In the meantime, you will all stay in my thoughts and prayers. With that, Mr. President.
I'm just going to start with some bittersweet news. It's kind of big news. We've all heard a little bit, hoping, but this coming year, after June, Rabbi Nori is not going to be continuing his journey with us here at TBD. Not going to get into too many big specifics, but he found a great full-time opportunity for him and his family that he aligns really well with. We've kind of hit the lottery with him the last few years. He kind of came to stay, and he really kept this shul going for a couple years. So he's also going to be helping us find a bridge for the next replacement as well. I have spoke with one of the candidates by, I think on Thursday. He seemed really aligned with what we're doing, a lot of things that could mesh well, a lot of positives that he has a connection with Rabbi Nori as well. And he has a few other opportunities, so we want to look at this as, you know, it's sad, obviously he's leaving, but it's it could be a positive, it could be a change, and it's really great that Rabbi Nori is going to be helping us find the next person. We're going to go over more specifics of Rabbi Nori, this new potential next step that we're going to take. We're going to have our board meeting Sunday. There's going to go a lot of, you know, Rabbi Nori will be there. He's going to try to be there, answer some questions that I'm not able to. But we can be sad a little bit. He was an unbelievable part of this shul, but also feel optimistic about where we're going to go. I feel pretty optimistic about it, and I think it's just a great opportunity for us to kind of work together to move forward. Other news, we have our regular Sunday school happening. Hebrew school is kind of thriving pretty well right now. We have about 8 or so students. On Sundays, we also have our Spanish-English classes in the Bagel Cafe. I am leading it. If you want to learn Spanish, you can go in there. If you want to learn English as a Spanish speaker, you can go in there. If you just want to hang out for a few hours, you can come on in. I'm there. I wear shorts. It's an exciting thrill for everybody to see. It really gets everybody talking. So if you just want to experience that for a few hours, and if you want to experience it for 15 seconds and then leave, I'm going to be there regardless. And a lot of things are going on in this March as well. We have our Purim wine and cheese night at the 23rd. That's the Saturday. For anyone that wants to maybe get a night away from the younger children, you can bring them, but there's going to be wine, so it won't be enjoyable for anybody. But then the Sunday following that is going to be our Purim party where you can bring kids, bring guests. We're going to get a bounce house. We're going to get some fun things so kids can kind of relax and be themselves without parents have to be on edge all the time. And as Barry mentioned this March, you'll have some time off. I'm going to lead some services. If you ever thought of, hey, this could be an opportunity, I'd like to lead a prayer or two or piece together a service with 2 or 3 people. I'm not going to say no. No one's really in the space to say that, so you can try it out. You can put it together. I'm going to lead at least one. Maybe, depending on what goes on with who we might decide to go with down the road, maybe we might see new guests in here, but it could be a new opportunity to see some new different types of services for this March. Keep checking your emails. The Pesach dinner is also coming up in April, as well as our fundraising silent auction as well. So lots going on these next few months, so please keep an eye out on your emails.
Thank you kindly. I don't need it, I've got one, thanks.
I also wanted to mention that Saturday, which is tomorrow, there's a service at 11 a.m.
Thank you. With that, I would ask you to rise for the priestly blessing as we close this evening's Shabbat service. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chonecha. May the Lord's face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Turn toward you and grant you peace. V'yasem lecha shalom. May you go from strength to strength. Shabbat shalom.